Hey everybody, I'm here today to show you how to use a drill. In this video, I will be going over some of the basic functions of a drill, and I will also be showing you how to use those functions. Let's get right to it. As you can see, I will be showing you how to do all of this with this specific drill, but you can probably take these instructions and apply them to your own drill because the majority of drills operate in the same way. All right. The first thing that I'm going to go over is speed. If you take a look at the top of this drill, there's actually a little slider and it has two different settings, 2 and 1. Now that determines the speed of the drill. Right now it's on 1, so the drill will turn fairly slowly. And if I turn it to 2, the drill will turn much faster. Very, very easy to use. If you take a look at these knobs right here, this little slider right here, I can push it with my index finger or my thumb, just like that. If I push it all the way in with my index finger, the drill will turn clockwise. Basically, the drill will be tightening a screw into place if I was using it to tighten a screw into this piece of wood, which I will be doing momentarily. If I push this little button in with my thumb, the drill will turn counterclockwise. And that is useful for loosening a screw or removing a screw from a piece of wood. Now, there's also a little spot in between those two modes, right in the middle, and that actually locks this button in place, the trigger button. So now I cannot push it and it will not accidentally start turning, okay? I didn't explain this, but it's pretty much self-explanatory. This little trigger right here is to actually get the drill moving. All right. One more function before we actually start using the drill and demonstrating the process for actually using it. So up here is actually the clutch. Now the clutch has various settings, and on this one it has basically numbers that go from low to very high, okay? So this determines when the drill will stop turning or stop tightening or loosening based on the level of tension or pressure that the drill is experiencing. So if I turn it to a very low setting, let's turn it to a very low setting, I will push the button on the drill and then I will put my hand on the chuck right here. This is the chuck, and you will see that the drill will stop turning. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so the drill stops working basically when it experiences the level of tension that has been set by the clutch. Let's do that one more time. Okay, now if I turn it to a much higher level, let's turn it to a much higher level, the drill will not stop turning. So I can, it's pulling my hand with it, okay? It's actually burning my hand. So the drill does not stop. It's pulling my hand, it's torquing my hand because it will not stop, okay, based on the tension that it is experiencing. All right, so one last thing is the chuck right here. This is the final thing before we actually use it. Now the chuck will tighten or loosen the bit holder right over here. So if you actually take the chuck and you loosen it, let's go ahead and loosen it right here. So if I loosen it just like that, okay, that loosens this up so I can actually remove the bit just like that. Then I can put the bit back in place and I can just turn this chuck to tighten it. Just like that, all right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use this to tighten this screw into this piece of wood. So I have it on the forward setting now, the clockwise setting. I'm going to get the screw in place. I'm going to put the appropriate bit is already in there. I'm going to put it in place just like that. And I'm going to apply a little bit of downwards pressure. I'm not putting a ton of pressure, but a little bit of downwards pressure. And what I like to do is just hold the drill steady just like that. And I'm going to tighten this screw into the piece of wood. So all that I have to do is put a little bit of downwards pressure or pressure towards the screw if you are using the drill horizontally. Put some pressure and then you will see that it tightens right into place just like that. Now, there's one last thing that I want to show you before I finish this video, and that is using a drill to drill a hole in a piece of wood or other material. And here's a little trick before I show you that. If you want to find an easy way to tighten and loosen the chuck without having to turn it with your hand, if you put the drill on the counterclockwise motion and you hold the chuck and then you simply press the button just momentarily, it will actually loosen the bit holder, okay? So just like that. and now the bit holder has been loosened because I'm holding the chuck and turning the drill counterclockwise. I've now removed the bit. I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to grab this bit right here, which is a bit that can be used to drill into various materials. I'm going to put the bit in place just like that, and then to tighten the bit holder without turning the chuck by hand, I put it on the clockwise motion and I hold the chuck in place as well as the bit, just like that. And I'm going to press the button just slightly to allow it to turn slowly, just like that. And then I hold the chuck and I push the button, just like that, and it's now tightened into place. So I'm not going to drill all the way through this piece of wood, simply because there is a table over here and I don't want to damage the table or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start drilling a small hole in the piece of wood. Now to do this, if the wood is secured against something, you don't have to hold the wood, but because this wood is just here on the table, I'm going to hold the wood, apply a little bit of downwards pressure, and just start, it's on clockwise mode, by the way, and just start drilling into the wood, just like that. As you can see, I've already drilled into the wood. I'm going to remove the bit from the wood by putting it on the counterclockwise mode, just like that. And then I'm going to push the button to remove it, just like that. Now, if you take a look, I've actually drilled a small hole in the piece of wood. And that's basically it. In this video, I have shown you how to use a drill. It's actually a really simple process, and I have spoken to you about the various functions of a drill, and I've also shown you how to use those functions. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.